Hi, everyone. It is Tuesday evening. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. Want to give you the latest, obviously, on our winter storm that's going to be moving in. We have a lot of components to this thing. We have not just the wind that's already kicking up this evening that will continue tomorrow with real strong gusts, as you saw in our last post, but we've also got the flooding component to this as well. We're going to get a lot of heavy rain. We still have some snowpack on the ground, obviously, so all that's going to cause some problems, especially as it tries to make its way into a frozen ground around the area. So we've got the flooding component, we've got the wind component, and then we've got the ice to snow component. Snowfall totals I have upped in the latest forecast. I'll show you why. We've got really another wave of low pressure that's going to come through the system. I'm glad we held off on calling that because we certainly have a little kink in the rope, so to speak, in terms of some of the snow that's going to be moving in. And I think we have an impactful Thursday night and Friday around here. So we're going to talk about all that in this update. Lots to cover. As always, come with your questions and we'll run our open and we'll get to it here in just a second. Well, hi there, everybody. Welcome in. I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday. I had to think about what day of the week it was. I did a morning show on Sunday, which morning show started like you have to be there like 2 a.m. I did a morning show yesterday, and then today I'm back to the evening shows. And I just got home from work. I scheduled this 8:30, Region Weather Live, knowing that my commute would cut it really close. So I just got home. So I figured I'd stay dressed up for you guys as well. I hope you enjoy that because I'm usually not looking so classy in some sweatpants here at home. But certainly appreciate you guys joining us again. If you're new to Region Weather, I'm Region Weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. We focus on Northwest Indiana weather. Obviously, we keep it local. We don't talk about Chicago because Chicago doesn't talk about us. All right, that's how we do it. So we certainly appreciate you coming in. I also want to send a shout out to our sponsors. Tiger Plumbing has been our sponsor for the month of February. They're just fantastic. If you get a chance, if you have any problems whatsoever with any plumbing needs, whatever it is, they come out for free. They do not charge you for that. A lot of plumbers do. So I really appreciate that. And they're a family business as well. Just great folks. Also, Griegers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. A lot of you know that name. Fantastic family owned business as well. Boy, if you're in the market for a new car, Jeep 4x4 would be pretty darn nice as we get through the rest of the winter, especially looking beyond this storm, because there are a couple more storms lining up as this pattern looks to be pretty conducive to an active end of February and a beginning of March as well. All right, so let's get into it. We've got a lot to cover here, folks. I hope you're prepared for some information here because there's a lot coming in. The deal with this storm system, it's just so multifaceted. There are so many different things to talk about. I don't want that to be misconstrued with the fact that this isn't going to be a blockbuster storm. This is going to be a pretty good hit. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not calling it apocalyptic by any means. There's just a lot of things to cover because this system's going to bring us a lot of different things. All right. So let's walk through it. First thing I want to do, I actually want to start out big picture for you, if that's cool. That way we can talk about, kind of how the system's evolving. Here it is now. It's in the Four Corners region, down towards the desert Southwest. We're pumping up our winds as expected. We've got a strong southwest wind. You're already probably hearing it blowing outside. If you had anything this evening, you just got home, obviously know it's windy out. That strong wind is going to bring in our warmer temperatures. So temperatures tonight are going upbound, right? Tomorrow, we're probably going to tag 50 degrees. It's going to be warm. It's going to be windy. We'll have that real strong wind. Keep in mind, if it ever gets warm in Northwest Indiana this time of year, that has to come from somewhere and it has to come fast. So it usually comes via a strong wind. So that wind is indicative that we have warm air coming in and we've got some kind of storm system brewing, right? So as we go through time, this low pressure comes out in the plain states, southern plains, that is, near Texas, right? Notice how the rain develops on radar out in advance of this. So we're going to turn rainy as we get into the afternoon tomorrow. That rain will It's not going to be something you see moving in. It's going to kind of develop over northwest Indiana. So by tomorrow afternoon and evening, we're talking rain around here. Temperatures will be warm. Again, we'll be up near 50 degrees. It'll still continue to be windy. If you checked out our last post on regionweather.com, we talked about the wind gusts by hour, and you notice they peaked between late morning and probably early to mid-afternoon. Then they'll start to dwindle. It's going to be breezy and still windy tomorrow evening and throughout the snow with this system, but the real strong winds, the real push of wind comes tomorrow during the daytime and early afternoon. Here's this low pressure getting started down towards areas of Texas. At the same time, we've got a very cold Arctic high pressure and a low pressure funneling in colder air into this system. So you know what that's the recipe for. When you have abundant moisture, you've got colder air working into it, you're going to have a changeover at some point. And I can now say with pretty good confidence that this changeover the timing of it looks pretty good on all fronts, on all model guidance. The track of the low is still off on some of the models, so we could still see some changes in terms of our impacts. But this low that gets going now looks stronger with the latest model runs. It also looks pretty in line with what the models have been saying in terms of the track being through southern Indiana. Again, there are some differences, but I tend to buy the one that you're seeing. And we'll go into detail on this. But that rain will eventually change over to some wintry mix and then eventually over to snow. The thing that's changed with the modeling is this wave you're seeing right here. It almost kind of backs off the precip early Thursday, and then Thursday afternoon and evening, we get this wave, this push of some deep moisture around here. And again, as of right now, with the track of that low, that looks to be primarily snow. And I'm pretty confident in saying that. I don't think there's going to be a lot of wiggle room in terms of where we go precip-wise. This system will head out of here fast. We'll have some lingering snow showers early Friday. Lake effect, a lot of you tend to ask about that. The lake effect doesn't look to be a huge deal around here, as it's not going to last long because we've got another Clipper system coming in this weekend. That's going to shift our winds around quickly down to the southwest again, and then we'll be on the backside of that system. All right, so let's get into details. First thing I want to look at is our College of DuPage website. Again, for all the weather junkies out there, this is completely open to the public. You can get on this website, look at the model runs, and get weathering. If you need any help deciphering what things mean, I love teaching weather, so that's certainly what we're going to get into. But what we're going to look at is the NamNest. I think the NamNest has a pretty good handle. It agrees with the other modeling on where this storm system is going to go. And then what we're going to do is get into snowfall total, stuff like that. We'll talk impacts, obviously. So what you see here, this is tomorrow morning. We're going to kick it off. You notice how we're dry. May have some sun peaks early tomorrow, but the clouds will start to increase. That's a strong wind. All those lines on there, those are lines of equal pressure. We call those isobars. When they're tightly packed like that, you've got a big difference between a high pressure and a low pressure, or a big pressure difference in a very small amount of space. What that means for you here at the surface is that we have windy conditions. So that is your strong wind tomorrow morning. It's not just in northwest Indiana. It's all over the eastern half of the country. This is really going to be a wind maker initially. And remember, that brings in warm air. As we go throughout the day tomorrow, notice how the showers blossom on radar from the west. We're going to eventually see these showers expand over northwest Indiana. I think into the 2, 3, 4 o'clock hour. Should have pretty good coverage of rain. Here's where the issues start. So looking at the snowpack around the region, we can melt that down and figure out how much water's in there, right? It's called the water equivalent, the snow water equivalent. And I looked at a close-up map, did some analysis on it. It looks like most of northwest Indiana has anywhere from about a ½ inch of water in the snow right now, upwards to 1.5 inches, depending on where you are. Highest amounts are in the snow belt, especially as you get up into southwest lower Michigan. They're talking 2 to 3 inches of water when that snow melts. Why do we need to talk about that? Because regardless of how much rain falls, that snow's going to melt tomorrow. A lot of it is, if not all of it. So that means if it doesn't rain at all, that snow melts, that still counts as a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of rain. All right. That would be fine, except for the fact that we've been frozen tundra over the last month. So our ground is frozen. There's not a whole lot of thawing that's going to go on deep into the ground. So that water has nowhere to go. And that becomes a problem, right? The other problem is ice jams on area rivers. When you have rain that has water going into the river, it tends to break up some of that ice. When you have melting, it tends to break up some of that ice. As the river gets more water in it, that breaks up some of the ice. When you break up ice in area rivers, it tends to jam in places, and that leads to flooding. And all the people that live around rivers in northeastern Illinois, northwestern Indiana, even down towards Indianapolis, you know what I'm talking about, because this time of year gets kind of dicey. So that's where the flood problem comes in. We're going to have this rain that develops. It's going to be heavy at times, especially tomorrow, late in the day on into tomorrow night. Rainfall totals, I'll just briefly show you that. Rainfall totals look to be on the order of perhaps an inch or two, especially as you get further down to the south. That would be probably, I would say, the US 30 corridor south. We'll see if the latest modeling has changed on this, but we're going to get some decent rain around here, right? And it's all rain tomorrow afternoon. It's all rain tomorrow night as it looks right now. But in terms of the rain, and this actually isn't my internet that's slow. It's the College of DuPage did this loading thing now. I don't know if they sent everything to the cloud or not, but this is how much rain we're expecting. That's quite a bit, right? So keep in mind, we've got 1.5 inches of rain, maybe 2 inches in our southern counties, on top of the snow melt, on top of the fact the ground can't handle any water right now because it's frozen. We could have some flooding problems around here. There's not going to be a lot of places to go. Why am I spending so much time talking about the flooding when I know you want to know about the snow? Because snow is sexy, flooding's not, right? I think this is going to be one of our bigger concerns. Between this and the snow, we're going to have some issues. So if you have storm drains on your property, most of us do, whether it be a driveway or your back patio, make sure they're cleared out. Get the snow out of the way. There might be some leaf debris from the fall, whatever it is, clear them out so that water can go somewhere, right? Because we're going to have problems getting that water to go somewhere everywhere else. So keep that in mind. All right, that's your helpful tip for the day. And again, your home insurance company will thank me. All right, as we go through time, that rain will start to mix with and change over to some freezing rain and sleet. What is the timing on that? Well, the NamNest agrees with the Euro, which I like. This would be early Thursday morning. So tomorrow all day, we're talking rain in the afternoon, gets heavy Wednesday night, tomorrow night. Thursday morning, during the early morning hours, this is before school and your commute to work, we'll likely see that changeover. Temperatures are going to be dropping this whole time. So that changeover looks to occur, again, probably 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. Could be a little later, could have some flex time on that. Give us a little flexibility on that. But here's what's changed in the modeling. You notice as we go into the morning hours, even into midday, this is lunchtime now, everything kind of backs off. This models have divided the system into 2 waves. Essentially, we get this first wave that comes through tonight or tomorrow night with all that heavy rain. It's kind of got some leftover sleet and freezing drizzle early Thursday morning. And then we kind of go quiet where we have a little sleet, maybe some snowflakes. This is like Thursday after your commute or during your commute. It doesn't look like a lot of precipit's going to be falling. And again, that's the latest model run, and I like it. After that, what's happening, everything's kind of getting sucked into this low pressure, which is looking deeper than it has in any of the model runs. And this big slug of moisture is set to come in here Thursday afternoon, Thursday night. So you can see it here in the modeling. We kind of go quiet Thursday, late morning through midday, and then you go in the afternoon and we get this big push of moisture in here. This push of moisture is going to either be heavy snow or it's going to be a wintry mix with mainly snow, depending on where you are. The NamNest is a little bit further north than I like, so that's got just a real good hit of freezing rain and sleet for us. You notice the heavy snow or that sweet spot's right in here, right where it changes over. So the region, literally, Northwest Indiana is divided, says the NamNest, between sleet, freezing rain, and heavy snow. So we would see different things depending on where you are. I think it's too far north, to be honest with you. And then you see we go over to heavy snow after that. So we would lay down a layer of ice, then we'd have snow. Bottom line, what you need to take from this model is that Thursday looks messy, right? And especially later in the day. So Thursday afternoon, Thursday night looks to be a mess. We'll likely have a residual mess Friday morning. So if you have any plans Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, may want to think twice about it. If you have any plans Friday morning, it depends on cleanup, but I still think we'll have some snowflakes flying around, especially of the lake effect variety briefly before that pushes on out. And this model goes all the way through about the 1 a.m. hour on Friday. So you see that lake effect band's finally moving on out. So a couple other things I want to show you. I want to get in here and we'll do a zoomed in view so we can get a little bit more detail in terms of how much snow we're expecting and what the main global models are saying. And then we'll give you our forecast, or which one I agree with the most as a meteorologist. So here we go. This is the Euro. The Euro has the changeover about the same. So you can see we have the rain. That's a guarantee. And this is now Thursday morning. This is 6 a.m. Let me get in here even more if I can. I'm going to go down to state level if that's cool. That way we can see it. Just give me a moment here. I think I just clicked on Montana, or Missouri. There's Missouri. If anyone has family or friends in Missouri, that's what it looks like at 6 a.m. on Thursday. Send them a screenshot as we go through time here. Here we go. All right, we're back to Indiana. This is Thursday morning. Notice the changeovers, areas of Lake County, perhaps, right? Again, this could fluctuate, so please don't take this for truth, but we've got a pretty good idea of how this is going to behave. And then you can see this agrees on that break mid-morning while the second wave develops. So it's kind of a mix, says the Euro, of some rain, some sleet, some freezing rain, a little bit of snow, but it's not heavy. And this is late morning Thursday through Thursday midday. The Euro handles this second wave just like the NAM-NEST did, except for it's further south. And this is the model I kind of agree with. And I have a feeling the National Weather Service in Chicago or Romeoville is agreeing with this as well, because they're putting out a lot of maps that kind of agree with this modeling versus the other one, which comes further north. But this would bring in heavy snow, and we would be in that sweet spot that we talked about, right where that ice changes over to snow. That's where you get some of the heaviest rates. We would be in that Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. That would be an impactful snow. It wouldn't last too long, right? It would be afternoon through probably early Friday morning, but we could be talking snowfall rates, if this verifies, of 1 inch plus an hour. So that would do some damage. It would be pretty similar to that last storm system we had in terms of how heavy the snow was and how consistent it was. That's what the Euro's hinting at now. And again, I kind of are leaning towards a further southern track because I think this cold air is more robust than some of the other models are picking up on. So I think the cold air will be here. So that's why I think we'll have mainly snow with this, with perhaps some ice Thursday afternoon as it transitions to snow. So I do think this will be more of a snow event at the end. The other thing to keep in mind, I know I'm verbally vomiting on everybody, and I appreciate you staying tuned to this. But the other thing to keep in mind is we're going to have all that rain, right? We're going to have all the snow melt. And then we're talking real cold temperatures late Thursday as well. Everything's going to freeze. So it's just going to be an icy mess. We're going to throw freezing rain and ice on top of that. We're going to throw snow on top of that. It's just, that's why I say this is a multifaceted storm, because there's just so many layers, not just figuratively, but there's just going to be a lot of layers to the storm system. All right, the other two models, I'll just show you snowfall totals from that, and we'll get into some totals here. So how much snow are the models saying now? What you're looking at, what you're always looking at when we do these regional weather lives, are the latest model runs. So this is the latest guidance that's coming in. It's the same guidance that your TV stations in Chicago, which really aren't going to cover Northwest Indiana, it's the same ones that they're going to use for their 11 o'clock forecasts tonight. We're giving it to you early. What does it mean to have the latest model information? Sounds really nice, doesn't it? It just means that you have the latest run of data that has come in via this system, and you have hopefully the most accurate forecasts, right, to the day or to the time. All right, that could all change tomorrow. Usually it doesn't change much from here on out. And again, I think the modeling has a pretty good handle on how this system is going to evolve. So here are your differences. This is the Euro snowfall. You notice much of the region has anywhere from about 6 to 8 inches of snow. There's some heavier strips as you get just south of here, just north of Indianapolis, and that stretches over towards just north of Fort Wayne. South Bend's kind of in it as well, where you have a strip of 10 inches or so of snow. So that's the Euro. Again, that doesn't mean this is going to happen. This is the modeling that's coming out. I've had kind of an intuition since about 2 days ago, and I wanted to put out some numbers, but I wanted to hold off on it. I just have a feeling with this one, it's going to be on the range of anywhere from 5 to 9 inches, regardless of what the models say and what they change. I just kind of feel like that's the way it's going to go for us here in the region. It all depends on the track of that low, though. And if we get any warmer air in here with the northerly track, that would drastically cut back on some of these totals. Here's the GFS. The GFS all winter long has been spitting out some amazing totals. Those totals never verify. If you look at the GFS, and this is probably what you're seeing on the internet right now, is holy moly, massive snowstorm coming. The GFS has us right in the sweet spot. That's fine. I could see that happening, but it's spitting out anywhere from 10 to, you see 15.4 inches in Valparaiso. Could we end up with that? I think that's upper end of it. All right. I don't really agree with this right now. I don't see that second wave being heavy enough to produce these kind of amounts of snow. I think we'll get a lot of snow, but to see 15 inches, I don't know. But as a meteorologist, I don't want to say no to that, because if that actually happens, then, well, I said it wouldn't be. And this is your final model, and this is the GEM, which is the Canadian. We still have big differences, and we're, 48 hours away from this now? The GEM's saying anywhere from 1 to 3 inches, with maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6 down in our southern counties. So still a big spread in the snow. Why is there such a big spread in the snow? It's because this system is so multifaceted. There are so many layers to this where we're not just projecting the track of the low, which is usually crucial. We're also projecting what every single foot, every single inch of the atmosphere from here on up, how shallow that cold air is, how that moisture transitions from snow to ice to snow, whatever it happens to be. If one of those is off, it throws all these off. And so that's why the gem is saying much lower snow, because it's saying more ice and sleet. Ice and sleet is a snow killer. It really is. You could have a forecast for 6 to 12 inches of snow. You have a little bit of sleet mixed in for 2 hours. All of a sudden, you're 12 inches forgotten. So just keep that in mind. This forecast can still fluctuate. As of right now, I'm feeling a 5 to 9 for the region. Again, as of right now, but I will. You can mark my words. That's fine. That's how I feel the system's going to pan out. Snow totals. Remember, we talk about this all the time. If you've been a region weather follower long enough, snow totals, I hate them. I really do. There's so much you're projecting with snow. Raindrops, you can predict how much rain's going to fall. You can be pretty close. Snowflakes, we're also predicting how big the snowflake is, what the water ratio is to that. There's just so much more to snowfall forecasting. That's why you can get huge ranges and huge errors. What we need to focus on are the impacts, right? The impacts are the same whether you get 8 inches of snow or 4 inches of snow. You have a mess, right? I get it that an impact of 20 inches is different than a couple inches, but still, the impacts are going to be a little bit the same for everybody, regardless of how these models shake out. What are those impacts? Tomorrow, windy, warm. We're going to have flooding impacts tomorrow night on into Thursday. And then Thursday, the impacts are going to be messy winter weather travel starting, I would say, midday through Friday morning. All right. So those are the impacts. Those are the things you need to focus on. I don't care how much snow Valparaiso ends up with versus forecast. It doesn't matter. The impacts are guaranteed. They're going to be the same, right? That's something I'm very confident saying, is that it is going to be a wintry mess around here, regardless of if we have a lot of snow or a lot of freezing rain mixed with snow by the time Thursday rolls around. So for you, start thinking about what you're doing on Thursday. Start thinking about maybe reorienting those plans. Friday morning, I've already had a couple messages, and I get it. Do you think school's going to be canceled Friday morning? Well, I think there's a good chance. I know we were 2 for 2 with the last storm system, but again, I'm not your superintendent, but there's certainly a chance that Friday morning there's not going to be a whole lot of cleanup going on Thursday night. And keep in mind, we've got a lot of ice underneath this. So will school be canceled Thursday? Well, we'll see. Early dismissal, maybe. If the forecast stays on track, it is going to be messy in that afternoon. At some point, we're going to see that push of moisture. I would hate for that to arrive during the evening rush hour, but it does look like that evening rush hour will be impacted Thursday. So Thursday might be a good day to do that as well, despite the fact we'll probably start as rain early in the morning when the superintendents are making that decision. So that's a tough one. All right. And again, I just do the forecasting. I don't do the actual game calling in terms of schools being canceled. Okay. All right, let's get to your questions. Appreciate all of you joining us for sure. And again, I saw Griegers was on there saying, thanks for the shout out. Thank you guys for all your support. Appreciate that. They keep this free. And I'll tell you, just wonderful people. All of our sponsors. We also have Brown Tire in Valparaiso. They're just fantastic. I just love working with everybody. Everyone's so bubbly on the phone and we all just get along. So that's just great. And if you have a local business and you'd like to, get a shout out or are interested in a sponsorship, we certainly love to do that for you. But more importantly, I love to answer your questions and get to some of the things that you might want to know. Okay. All right. So let's start. I'm just seeing the latest here. So if you have something, go ahead, throw it in there. Brent is on our YouTube channel. Thank you, Brent. Just got back from Cleveland. I'll have to check their forecast too. You're welcome. Absolutely. Brent, yeah, we did okay on the last storm. As a meteorologist, I never get arrogant though. I'm telling you, these storms have a mind of their own. You think you have a handle on it. You think the modeling all looks great. And it could really go another way for sure. Brent, in Cleveland, what we're going to be dealing with is lots of rain on Thursday. That rain's going to change over to a wintry mix late Thursday, Brent. So we're talking evening rush hour beyond, and there's not going to be a lot of snow in northern Ohio. It's going to be a pretty quick hit of snow behind it, maybe an inch or two, but the icing concern Thursday night, Friday morning is there as well. All right, Erica asked, what time do you think the yuck will start on Thursday? I have a meeting 11:30 to 1. Ooh, Erica, that's the time frame where we're going to probably just have some bits and pieces around where it's not real consistent. And again, this is as of tonight's model run. Could change tomorrow, but I'll give you this advice tonight. So it doesn't look too bad then. We'll be turning wintry then. Temperatures are going to continue to fall. Stuff's going to start to freeze up because it's going to be in the 20s by then. But as we go through time Thursday, I think that afternoon hits probably, oh man, I would say after that time frame, after 1, but not far beyond it. I think that evening rush hour is going to be pretty hit hard from that. Jeff, forecast for this evening, a handsome Matt in his suit. I told you I scheduled this Region Weather Live, and I had to hightail it home from work, so I said hi to my wife, and I said I'm heading downstairs. She's okay. Laverne's not getting along with me right now. I appreciate that. Marilyn says, didn't have any big snowstorms until I started watching you. You guys are great. I'm sorry, Marilyn. I'll tell you, we have had 2 pretty decent storms. Maxwell asks, any chance of thunderstorm? Laverne notes, not an April Fool's joke. Terry asks, how many days till spring? We have a countdown on regionweather.com. Max, I said it last storm. I thought maybe we'd have a lightning strike or 2. I think there's a chance of thunder snow with this. Again, we're right in that sweet spot of the storm system where the rain changes over to ice, and right where that icing changes over to snow, you get some really good rates. So I do think we could see some thunder snow with this, Max. We'll see. Let's see. Natalie says, how much of the snow is going to insta-melt with the flooding? Natalie, I don't think much of it. And the reason why is we're gonna turn cold fast. So the one thing I didn't show is temperatures, and that's kind of important. Let me just show you this cold air gushing in here. And I trust me, I share, I think most everyone's grievances around just this winter, right? It's been okay the last month or so, we could handle it. And now it's just like, okay, we're done. Like, let's warm things up. Carolyn, I don't think, just to answer your question, Carolyn, I don't think Thursday morning is going to be icy. Temperatures are going to be coming down then, so we'll be getting icy, but I think Thursday morning's commute will be okay. And here's why. Let's go through. I want to show you these temperatures real quick, okay? Keep in mind we have all rain tomorrow. These temperatures, I think, are a little bit low. I think we're going to tag 50 tomorrow. It has us at like 40. But you can see the cold front as it comes in. This is Thursday at 1 a.m. We're still sitting in the low 40s, so no ice yet, right? Here's the cold air. This is now Thursday about 8 a.m. We're at freezing or around there at 8 a.m. So the ice hasn't taken hold yet. So morning rush hour Thursday, I feel like it's going to be okay. By midday, though, we're down into the 20s. And then by evening, as this cold air wraps in, we're down into the teens. All right. So all that water is just going to be real messy around here. Okay. Hope that helps. Jeff, and Natalie, to answer your question, I don't think a lot of it's going to insta-melt because we'll be cold enough by then. You know, the snow will melt when it hits puddles and water, but this isn't going to be Noah's Ark where it's all water everywhere. So we'll see pretty rapid snow accumulation once that snow starts. Jeff, I don't think any lake enhancement from this. Just looking at it, we've got a northeast wind that would target more Chicago. I just don't see it with this. I don't think there's enough time for the wind to latch onto that moisture and bring it in because this is going to be a pretty good slug coming in from the south for sure. That's funny. I'm just reading some of your comments. I love them. Jackie says rain totals for Cedar Lake. I'd rather have snow than rain. I know, especially because we're going to have both, Jackie. Rain totals for Cedar Lake, I would say probably on the order of you're going to be approaching an inch, probably an inch to an inch and a quarter. I can check what the modeling saying for you here. Yeah, so we're talking, well, if this thing would stop, I know it looks pretty when it runs, but all right, so Cedar Lake right in here. Let's get a total here. Oh, it's not showing me totals on here. Yeah, you're in this has like maybe 1.3, 1.4. It doesn't matter either way. You're going to get at least an inch of rain as it looks right now, for sure. All right, Tanya says, I work at Chicago 8 a.m. How bad is it? Tanya, it's going to be colder up in Chicago at 8 a.m. I still think Thursday morning rush hour is going to be okay. The 5 p.m. is going to be your tricky one. It's not just the ice. And Tanya, I hope we're talking Thursday here. But in terms of the ice, it's not just going to be the ice Thursday for that evening rush hour. We'll likely have some heavy precip falling, and that will likely be a heavy snow. So that Thursday evening rush hour to me just looks like a mess. Thursday morning again looks okay, but boy, I would almost tell you to reconsider. I don't like making decisions for people because I don't know what kind of winter weather driver you are. But I would almost reconsider that evening rush hour, whether it be stay there or, I mean, even if you take a half a day, you're risking running into that on the way back. You should be okay at lunchtime, but we'll see. Jeff asked how many loaves. I think this one's a 3 loafer. If you've got the sprouted grains, Jeff, probably 2.5, because that does a little bit more for your system. So you could probably survive long around 2.5 for that. I hope that helps. Russ, hey buddy, thanks for joining us, Russ. I think the warm air and pavement temps from Wednesday are going to cut numbers by a few inches on pavements for his plowers. You're looking studly. Also, Russ, it's YOU apostrophe RE. All right, you are. Sorry, I call that out with my workmates all the time, and I appreciate that. So, Russ, that pavement's not going to hold a whole lot of heat. I understand the rain and the warmer temperatures, the 50s help. I don't feel like the pavement helps as much as we think when you have a temperature crash, because that pavement temperature is going to follow probably by about 8 or 9 degrees the temperature until it finally reaches up, right? So you may have a little bit of help, but gosh, Russ, this is going to be such a hard event for you, because if you do pre-treating, that pre-treatment with all the rain is just going to wash away, right? So you can't do a lot of pre-treatment. So we're likely going to have, the layer of water from the rain that will start to freeze up. We'll have some sleet and freezing rain for a brief period, hopefully just brief. I hope it's not an all-day event. If this thing shifts north, we have ice all day. I don't think that's going to happen. And then we'll have snow on top of that. But Russ, this is you and all the snowplow drivers that tune in. Boy, this is going to be a rough one for you, just because we're going to have all sorts of different kind of things going on. How do you think the drive down to Indy would be Friday evening? Missy, should be a lot better by Friday evening. Yeah, you're going to encounter some icy patches because temps are going to shoot down into the teens. But I think as long as they get the roads clear, you should have an unimpacted drive by Friday evening. Terry's over snow. Chuck, you're absolutely welcome. Absolutely, buddy, for sure. Deanna, the wind is really going to ramp up tomorrow. It's still going to be windy. We can look at that. There's not a lot of wind with this system. In terms of like real strong wind, I think we'll probably stay between 20 and 30 miles per hour, which is breezy, right? We can call it windy, but the real strong wind arrives tomorrow. And again, we're going to have to wait about an hour and a half for the College of DuPage website to load, because I think they went to the cloud. So again, it can't be my internet, right? Unless my wife's streaming upstairs, she might be. We'll see. I think I'm really far behind on comments. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to zoom ahead. If you asked a comment, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't want to get too far behind. Rob, you're welcome, buddy. That's awesome to hear. As a street commissioner, you have to make a lot of important decisions for sure. So I hope that helps. Mark, yes, good advice on that. Oh, okay. Here we go. Now we're starting with the what about my town questions. I get that. For those of you that have been with me long enough, I don't want to say I can't stand it, but it's different everywhere. But I think this will be the same for most locations. I'm feeling 5 to 9 inches from this right now. Again, the models vary. If you missed the beginning of this broadcast, the GFS has 14 inches all over Northwest Indiana. The Canadian model has anywhere from 1 to 6. Which is nothing, right? They have more ice though. And the Euro is the one I'm kind of in line with right now. And again, that's probably a 5 to 10er as it looks right now. And I've been kind of feeling 5 to 9 with this. Again, it's that Thursday push of precip that comes in here. That's going to do it. Someone asked about the wind earlier. Here's the wind tomorrow. Look at that. Really ramps up. And actually, yeah, I think you could see that. Okay. Sorry if you couldn't see this the whole time. I zoomed in as much as I could. We're talking 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. Says the NAM Nest. I would go a little less, probably 45 or so, but we'll see. Real windy tomorrow. And then notice how it kind of backs off. This is Thursday morning. We totally switch air masses. You see that line? That's the North Arctic air moving in. It's just crazy to see. So we're talking 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts, maybe some 35 mile per hour gusts. Not a huge windstorm though once this is out of here. Let me go back to this and play it for you that we can see the evolution of this. Yeah, Russ, I totally agree with that, buddy. Yeah, I know. You guys work your butts off. All the snowplow drivers out there, that's just so much work because you're trying to keep up with it. And then, you've probably got multiple properties. You're clearing multiple roads, whatever you guys do. Tanya, how's 8094 to Chicago Friday morning? Tanya, the snow is going to be clearing out. It depends on how early you're leaving. I would imagine it's going to be pretty icy and snowy around. We'll be coming off of some heavier snow at night. The snow should be tapering off. So let's pause this on Friday morning real quick. So here we go. This is Friday morning at 1 a.m. So we just got out of some heavy snow. We're dealing with leftover lake effect. They have a couple hours to clean up. I do think we'll be snow free for the most part from here to Chicago Friday morning. But again, it's going to be the cleanup, like how well are the roads clear? And I think it's going to take some time for sure. Hey, my buddy Joe's on there. Hey, Joe. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, man. For sure. Terry's ready for spring and summer. Appreciate that. Let's see. Chad asking, trip to Florida planned out of Chicago on Friday at 10:30 in the morning, I would imagine. We had planned to go to a hotel near the airport the night before. We'll be drivable Thursday night. Chad, from Northwest Indiana, anything's drivable. It really is. It depends. Again, if you have four-wheel drive, you can make it. It's just the other drivers that are usually going crazy. I think it's going to be drivable. I don't think this event's going to be like a shut everything down event, but I think it's going to get really tricky, Chad, Thursday evening. I really do. I think just because we have rain, there's going to be a lot of water that freezes. We're going to throw ice and wintry mix on top of that. So that's another ugly layer. And then we could have this heavy snow, which this has really shown up in the last couple model runs to be truth. And that's just not a good recipe Thursday night. Might be a good idea to head up, if you have the day off, to head up there Thursday morning while it's still kind of rainy, and just, have fun, make a night out of it up there. Nick, last storm, that's interesting. I can't say I remember. I usually remember in the moment or the days after, but I'm also handling that snow in Cleveland. We were wall-to-wall coverage with this, so I can't say I remember. I know which one performed best for us. And it was actually the HER model, which is this one in terms of short res or high res short term. The HER did the best for us in terms of snowfall totals. Most of them were in pretty good agreement with that last storm. Remember, the GFS was pretty high in the totals. The GFS has been spitting out real high totals this whole entire winter so far. So I don't like the 14 to 16-inch totals that the GFS is saying. So let's look at the HER. We haven't looked at this model yet. Again, this is high-res short-term. Most of them are in agreement. This has the rain. It's heavy. It has our changeover. There you go. That's Thursday morning again. We go to some ice. And then this has, I like this. I think this looks great. This has the heavy snow working in here. Notice how it kind of backs off. We've got some precip around Thursday morning through midday, but it's not real consistent. And then you have this real heavy push of snow. And that is some very heavy snow. And look at that line, Southern Newton and Jasper County. That's the difference between your 6 to 10 inches of snow and like 1 to 3. I mean, that's how close this is. And so I hope you guys understand, if this thing shifts at all, it changes the game. It does. I don't think it'll shift a lot though. So the HER has some real decent snow. Let's look at how much the HER is projecting here. Because this could be on to something. Again, the HER didn't go this far last time I checked. In terms of the time frame, and this is loading, and I think this is now my internet that's going to take some time loading this map. So we'll see. Here we go. There it goes. Come on, Bessie. Yeah. So okay, the HER has some real high totals here, and that may be factoring in a little bit of sleet into it as well. These are impressive totals though, and I got to respect it. This is coming out. Gosh, man. The HER spitting out. This is the latest one. It just finished. This is the 0Z. It's spitting out 15 to 18 inches across the region. Boy, that complicates things. It really does. And notice how that sharp that cutoff goes. So the HER model, the latest run, has 18.6 in Valparaiso. It's got 15 inches in Lake County, and then you get down to the southern tier of Newton and Jasper County. It's got 6, and then you go down to 0 in a matter of a county. So that's how sharp this cutoff is going to be. So I can't discount that. Again, I'm feeling 5 to 9 for now. I'll stick to that, but we may have to reevaluate tomorrow. And it's all about how much moisture is in that second push, and it's all about if that cold air is here in time. We can't have any mixing. If we have freezing rain or sleet, it will cut back our snowfall totals, and that's where the headache comes as a meteorologist to see. Let's see. Just reading your comments. Laverne's giving me a hard time, and she's trying to stick up for me too. Appreciate it. Stephanie, is this your least favorite kind of storm to predict with so many factors and layers? A lot of room for error in your prediction. Yes, Stephanie. I wouldn't say least favorite. I get an adrenaline rush out of these, and the reason why is because you can be really wrong or you can be really right. And they're exciting. My favorite thing about these is watching them evolve, like real-time forecasts and say, oh, it's changing over there right when we thought, or oh my gosh, it hasn't changed over yet. And that's why, I'm going to continue to give updates as the storm's going along with some nowcasting saying, okay, we haven't changed over in Newton and Jasper County. That's going to cut back snowfall totals. I just want everyone to be forgiving in terms of this, right? Just in case something does go wrong. That's why we forecast impacts, right? That's more important. It's more accurate, where we're going to have wintry travel regardless around here. Aaron, yeah, Thursday evening. It's Thursday afternoon that goes downhill. Thursday midday is going to start to go downhill. Afternoon's when it's going to start to get rough. And by Thursday evening, I think we're just messy around here. Erica, you're welcome. Absolutely. You can borrow me anytime here. And again, we have to thank our sponsors, right? Because they keep this free. Facebook keeps telling me, and Facebook's putting up this comment about stars or whatever that is. I appreciate so much all those of you that have sent stars. I don't tag or pin that comment to my page. Facebook does that because they want to make a buck off of it too. So Facebook, but I appreciate it. They're streaming right now. But anyway, I appreciate you guys' support, and our sponsors are a huge supportive part of this. They're enabling me to pay for subscriptions, to pay for the website, all that stuff. And that's awesome. That's just a blessing. It really is. Tani asking, how is the Friday 5 p.m. commute back to Northwest Indiana from Chicago? Tani, it should be okay. The snow will be out of here. It's going to be cold. I would imagine by Friday afternoon, we'll start to get those streets pretty clean. I think you'll be okay Friday afternoon. Let's see. Kevin asking about Chicago Bulls. You're welcome, buddy. He's always asking me sports questions. It's still a long season to go. We're only at the All-Star break this weekend. So Bulls are up towards the top. I'll tell you, it's going to be a tough time with those Cleveland Cavaliers. They're looking pretty good this year. They're young and they're motivated. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. No predictions yet. It's too early. Erica, yes, I think the watch will switch to a warning. And who cares? People get so caught up in like, what watch or warning are we under? Who cares, right? The impacts, you already know what they are. There's going to be no surprises, whether it be a watch or warning. It doesn't change what we're looking at. And what we're looking at is a very impactful. That's why it will likely be a warning. Probably a winter storm warning will go into effect. A very impactful Thursday midday through Friday morning as it looks right now. Oh, you guys are awesome. Deanna, stop talking that 15 to 18. Don't tag people with 15 to 18. That's just a model, all right? That's the stuff you're seeing online, for sure. Guys, I'm just catching up. Let's see. Okay. Deanna, it is La Nina right now, but as we've learned over the last probably 10, 15 years, it doesn't matter if it's La Nina or El Nino. There are other factors that go into that can create a certain type of winter and a certain type of pattern. So, we've had warm La Ninas, we've had cold ones, we've had snow, we've had rain. So I take little care towards whether it's La Nina or El Nino now. Just keep that in mind as you're going. Sharon says, when I get a snowblower, can someone help Sharon out? She needs a snowblower. She sent hers back for a refund. Sharon, winter's not over. So there you go. So help Sharon out if you can. And Lowe's got a shipment. Are all the Lowe's out of snowblowers? Is that what's going on right now? I know there's supply chain shortages everywhere. That's fun. Kim asked a good question. What direction will the wind be blowing tomorrow? So, Kim, it's going to be real windy tomorrow. That wind's out of the southwest tomorrow. And that's the warm wind. And we're going to have gusts 40, 45 miles per hour tomorrow, midday through late afternoon as it looks right now. So southwest tomorrow. Once the cold air hits, you'll know it. We'll have a strong northeast wind back behind us, 20 to 35 miles per hour on that. Okay. Hope that helps. Thanks, Jeff. That's what we're about here at Region Weather, connecting community. Seriously, though. Thank you, Jeff. And you're welcome, Sharon, from Jeff. I know he says that. He doesn't have to type it. That's fine. Okay. I think I'm running out of things to say, so I'm going to get going. But I do appreciate you guys joining in. Again, we'll have more updates. We'll do another Region Weather Live tomorrow night. Gosh, where does the time go? We're at 45 minutes now. Sorry, everybody. I know you have, at least it's not the Super Bowl tonight. That's good. Let's see. Jose asks a real quick question here. This is the last one I'll answer, Jose. How's the weekend looking with some snow melt? Jose, we bounce back nicely. Let me show it to you. We're going to bounce out of this. And here's what happens. Late February, we get caught up in this. Late February, that sun angle is getting higher in the sky. It's getting stronger. We're getting a lot more energy from the sun. And in late February, we tend to get some bounce backs from this cold that lasts for a few days. So that's kind of nice. So let's go through time. I hope this model run gets me there. It's not going to. It's going to run out. Let me go to the 12Z real quick. We're going to look at high temperatures this weekend. So here is Saturday. Saturday is going to be kind of our in-between day because we have a clipper system that comes in. So Saturday's highs in the 20s. Sunday's a nice one, though. Watch this bounce back. Look at this. 50 on Sunday, maybe. Keep in mind, we'll have some heavy snowpack, so we may be talking upper 40s, but it's going to warm up quickly. And then Monday looks good, too. Look at this. 50s again on Monday, right? So anything we get is going to melt. And this is what I'm talking about. This time of year, we get these moderating air masses. And again, they become more frequent. You know that as we get into spring, but it should be pretty nice. All right. Hakuna Matata to you, Mark. Guys, thanks for joining us. For sure, if you need to go back and watch this, if you tuned in last 20 minutes or whatever happens to be, it's going to be posted on our Facebook page. You can go back. You can scroll kind of like a DVR. We hit most of the information off the top in the first 10 minutes. I think we covered it pretty well. Okay. All right. Thank you for all those joining us on our YouTube channel as well. And as always, thank you to our sponsors. We'll talk to you. We'll have another infographic, maybe another web update tomorrow. But most importantly, we'll do this again tomorrow night. Probably around the same time, if that's okay. I'll try to rush home.